Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be reviewing the SH Figuarts Vegeta 24,000 power level, also known as the early Namek Vegeta. Now this is a premium Bandai release, so he is a little bit more expensive than usual, and for the most part I do think it's worth it, because while it is sort of similar to what we've seen before, I think there's enough new that this makes this an interesting release. And it is a little bit of a cop-out that they released this one and pretty much as he was shipping announced the old Battle Clothes version of him basically in the second half of Namek. I knew it was coming, but I do think it's a little bit mean to announce the pre-order as soon as this one's sort of like shipped out to everyone. But both figures will be good in their own rights, and they will capture the character in those different parts of Namek. Anyway, this is Vegeta from early Namek, this is Scouter Vegeta, and it is a pretty iconic look for Vegeta. They've done some new interesting things with it to make it stand out a bit more beyond the regular 2.0 Vegeta that we've been getting for years. So it is the standard SH Figuarts box look, so primary image, window to the front, comic book panels all along, but taken out of the box you can see what we're dealing with. So Vegeta comes with 4 faces, his Scouter, a bunch of hands, as well as folded arms accessories. That is pretty standard for Vegeta, and you might be a little bit disappointed that there's no energy effects or things like that. I'd say the biggest downside of this figure entirely is no Dirty Fireworks finger, and that is literally DLC for the Qui figure, which as of recording has been released, but I don't have one yet. And it's a little bit annoying that they did that. It's pretty much a way to make sure that people will buy Qui, but if you're already this deep into the line as I am, you'd buy Qui regardless. But I do like sort of the cohesiveness of a lot of the figurines where different ones come with different accessories for different characters. But if you're not collecting the entire line, it is awkward when you buy a figure and you get accessories for something you don't have or don't care to have. Like if, say, for example, you don't like Luffy and you're buying the One Piece line, you just keep getting accessories for Luffy, and what do you do with that? But that's another discussion for another time. This is what Vegeta comes with, and it's a pretty decent loadout, and like I said, it's the standard loadout we're familiar with, but I think it works especially well with this one because the head sculpt on this Vegeta is absolutely fantastic. So taken out of the box, here is Vegeta, and he looks pretty much perfect. Would I like a fully redesigned like leg system and arm system similar to like the 3.0 figures for Dragon Ball? Absolutely. But as it stands for Namek, I think the 2.0 molds work really, really well for that art style at that time. And he casts a beautiful silhouette, looks incredible, but again, like I said, the face sculpts are what sell this. The modern design for face sculpts for SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures is absolutely incredible, and they've redesigned the actual hair and head sculpt for Vegeta to better match his design at that time, and I think this is the best hair design that any Figuarts Vegeta has had. It just looks so accurate and so perfect from all angles. It's just such a good sculpt. Now before we go any further, we'll do a quick size comparison so you can see how he stacks up against other figures. Here he is next to the 2.0 Scouter Vegeta. I don't have the 1.0, so you can sort of see how they differ quite a bit, especially in their stature. There are some slight differences, as well as against the Son Gohan Boyhood version. I think that's what that one was. It's basically the Saiyan Saga and Namek Saga Gohan. Here he is next to the Jada Toys Ryu, so you can see how he stacks up against other sort of 1/12-ish scale figures that aren't Dragon Ball. And here he is against the Marvel Legends Cyclops, so you can sort of see how he pairs against other action figures in general. But moving right along to posability, Vegeta has got a ball joint in the head and neck, which allows for a pretty decent amount of movement. Unfortunately, the neck joint is a little bit loose, so the weight of the head does get in the way, and there is a bit of an ugly gap that gets created every now and again. The shoulder pads are a bit like the Turles, where they have a little joint at the back that can move around. It's not as free as the Turles one, but it does get the job done. I do prefer it over the hinges that they do most of the time though. The arms can rotate all the way around, and again the shoulders can move out of the way to help that. They can move up. There's a swivel at the upper arm, bend at the elbow, as well as a ball joint at the wrist. There's a ball joint in the upper chest, which allows for a decent amount of motion, but the way that it's designed makes it seem like you can get more, but it's fine. He can do the splits that far, kick forward and back that far, bend at the knees, as well as pivot at the ankle and bend at the toe. It's pretty much the 2.0 main design Vegeta from the waist down, so swivel at the thigh as well. And the arms are pretty much the same as well. They're slightly redesigned, but this is very much 2.0 Vegeta. Even has a butterfly joint that you can activate by sort of pulling out the arm a little bit, but be careful because the arms are designed to be popped out for the folded arms accessory, so it can be a little bit funny playing with them. But moving right along to accessories, Vegeta comes with 4 faces. So he's got this sort of neutral smile out of the box, which looks fantastic. He's got a teeth-gritted angry face, which is super expressive. He's got a slightly mouth open smirking face, which looks really, really good. It's the very sinister up to something Vegeta that we had at that time in Namek, as well as a super exaggerated shouting face, which looks incredible. It does look a little bit goofy depending on the pose you get him into, but for the most part it looks incredible. And all of these faces are compatible with or without the Scouter. He has a swappable Scouter and earpiece, and the ear does create a slight seam line, but for the most part it's not noticeable at all. So it blends with the figure very, very nicely. And all of the faces look good with or without the Scouter, so it's just so good to have these options. And I can't really think of any other faces they could have beyond, like, eyes looking to the side, dirty fireworks, which, whoa, it's weird that we have that with a different figure. But with those faces and his hands and folded arms, you can get a lot of expressiveness out of this figure. I think a lot of it comes down to the silhouette of the figure, as well as those new expressive faces and the head sculpt. You can recreate some really nice scenes with him, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful looking figure. Do the shoulders get a little bit in the way because of how they're designed, like with the shoulder armor? Yeah, but it's not enough to really ruin the figure for me. Like, you can already see the joints anyway for a lot of things, so it's like the shoulder pads being lifted up a bit and seeing a little bit of gappage. It's not really the end of the world, but I think I've softened on a lot of these things over time. I'd say the bigger problem is the gappage in the neck area and generally the looseness of the neck because of how heavy the head is. I'd say that's more an issue. But again, you can get him into some pretty dynamic poses. Works best sort of in action or aerial poses. He does not come with a base, like most SH Figuarts, you just need to supply your own. But overall, I think you can get him into just about any pose you could think of with what you're given, and I think it's really nice. I would have liked an effect part or something, like having a simple like energy blast similar to the Goku effect part set that we got last year. I think that would be nice to be sort of like standardized with a lot of Figuarts, similar to how like the Naruto line, a decent amount of them do come with kunai just because that's a pretty standard loadout to have for the Naruto line. So it'd be nice to have like something, just a little bit of something. But I understand that's not how Dragon Ball Figuarts roll, and it is nice that we do get effect part sets now, but it still feels like a little bit of a cop-out every now and again. But that's pretty much it. The Vegeta is a rock solid figure, aesthetic is on point, and I had a lot of fun with this one. Keen to see the Kui, which I think is more 2.0 than it is like sort of this in-between body type that we've got with this Vegeta. I do still want to see a proper 3.0 Vegeta using sort of the bulky frame of Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, but reapplying that to say like Saiyan armor or like the bulky sort of Ascended Saiyan when he fought Second Stage Cell. I want to see them play around with the molds a bit more and have something a little bit more interesting for Vegeta. But as it stands, still a really, really good figure, and I will be buying the old battle clothes when it releases. But that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.